Okay, how Mountain View Lavender Farm began. My husband and I purchased 14 acres of land outside McEwensville, Pennsylvania in the spring of 2013. We began by putting up fencing for our horses. We enjoyed our time working together outside along with our little boy playing in the fields. Then construction began on our house, and that winter we moved into our home. The following spring, I began to landscape around our house. I went to the local nursery and picked out a variety of perennial plants, and one of them happened to be lavender, since I love purple and they smelled wonderful. I planted them around our home, which is on a sloping hillside, and landscaped around them with decorative creek gravel. A few years went by and we added some Irish Dexter cattle and chickens to our farm and another baby boy. And each year the lavender came back bigger and more beautiful around our home. So in the back of my mind, there was always an idea to plant a field of lavender on our land. So comes the beginning of 2019, and we make the jump to start our lavender farm. We ordered 1,500 plants of 10 different varieties from a local nursery. We purchased a rotary tiller, a raised bed mulch layer, ground cover, and landscape staples. We had our soil tested through the Penn State Extension, and after receiving the results, had our soil treated with lime accordingly. Lavender likes a pH between 6 and 8. We then measured out our rows in our southern field to have 10 rows 300 feet long each. The next step was to till the ground, and my husband used his New Holland tractor with the rotary tiller attachment and set to work. Then we needed to use our raised bed mulch layer to mound the dirt for proper drainage and to lay the black ground cover to keep out the weeds. This was a bit of trial and error to get the hang of it, to create the desired mounding effect to hold the ground cover down with the soil. But after some trial and error, we found that a fast speed was best. Now we had to come up with a way to burn uniformly shaped holes in our ground cover to plant our lavender. After trying some different methods, we came up with one of our own to use a stove vent pipe and butane torches, measuring out spacing on 2-foot intervals to plant our lavender. We were able to work with our local nursery and pick up a few hundred plants at a time to put into the ground. When it came time to get the plants in the ground, it was enjoyable to be working in the fields together as a family. Our boys would help by laying out plants in front of the rows and bringing me and my husband a drink, but mostly they enjoyed playing with their toys in the dirt and exploring the fields. It was a lot of back-breaking work to get that many plants in the ground for 2 people, between trying to change positions for you're not getting sore and dealing with the heat and wind and rainy days that would put us behind. We got most of our plants in the ground other than one variety that couldn't get in due to the rain and them dying before we could get them in the ground. There you can see how sweaty you can get out there. After we were done with planting, we just waited. We thought we wouldn't have any blooms till the following year, but about 4 of our varieties did bloom the first year. And what a beautiful sight we had, lavender blooming and butterflies abounding. With our beautiful lavender in bloom, I began the work of harvesting it by hand. I use a small handheld sickle to cut the lavender into bundles and secure them with a rubber band and place them in a box. Then I take the lavender bundles to the house and hang them upside down to dry. In the autumn, we go out again and prune back all the lavender plants and hedge them up neatly with an edger. After the bundles have been drying for a few weeks, they can be stored away or made into lavender products. Since we had an abundance of dried lavender and I enjoy crafting, I decided to make some products. Here are some of the things that I decided to go ahead and try at home. I made a lavender and rice neck pillow that you can heat or cool, a lavender flax eye seed pillow, lavender soaking salts, lavender sugar scrub, lavender tub tea, lavender and chamomile tea, lavender soap, lavender roll-ons, lavender spray mist, lavender balm, lavender lemonade, and lavender sugar cookies. The idea behind all this lavender, you pick. With enjoying farm life myself so much, it was the purpose of our lavender farm to open up the enjoyment of a farm experience to the public. We wanted to be able to provide people with the enjoyable experience of being in nature and be able to take home fragrant bouquets of lavender. When you arrive on the farm, we show our guests how to cut the lavender properly when they arrive in the field with their scissors and basket, and then allow them to freely explore the many varieties in our field. After having cut themselves a bouquet, or many, they come to our checkout to have them sized and make payment. What people are saying about their farm experience. Here are some of the reviews of our customers. So friendly, very knowledgeable with lavender, the cutest little corgis, and the most well-behaved little boys. Had such a great time. Prices are great. Great job, Davises. My daughter and I had a great time. It was very relaxing and the smell of lavender was awesome. The two young helpers did an awesome job of explaining all about the lavender plants. They were very helpful. We will definitely do this again. We had the most fantastic experience today. Such nice people and a wonderful view. The lavender smells amazing and the lavender sugar cookies were delicious. It smells so good here. The lavender is beautiful and the people are so nice. We will definitely tell all my friends and return. The girls and I had a great time lavender picking. It was worth the trip. And here are some photos of the people that have come to visit our farm. Most of these people I actually talked to for a little while. I got to know them and they were just so thrilled to be able to come out and experience the beautiful nature and just be in the calm of it all. It's down in our far field and there's really not much traffic noise. You can hear the birds, you can see the butterflies, and people just really enjoy just getting out there and having something fun to go do with their friends or family. So different types of lavender. This is an English variety where you can kind of see what that looks like. It's a more rounded look. The English variety will be the first to bloom in the fields, which would be about mid-June. English variety is good for culinary use. They are cold hardy, and in the winter they kind of turn gray and they don't look very cheerful. This is French. We have both English and French in our fields. You can see it has a more pointed look of wheat. It blooms after the English. The whole plant itself is larger than the English plant. It stays more green in the winter, but it's less hardy to frost. This is a Spanish variety, which has a totally different look. I think it kind of looks like a hat with feather plumes on it. This we do not have on our farm because it would not survive our winters here. You could have it as an annual and plant it, but it is not going to survive Pennsylvania winters. All lavender, it can range in colors from white, pink, yellow, blue, and different shades of purple. They can all be used in essential oil making and potpourri and culinary, but certain ones do better for others. And we're also learning that it's kind of like a grape when it comes to flavor. When you're using it for culinary, it can depend on many factors of weather and lavender care. Plant where it will receive 6 to 8 hours of sunlight with well-drained soil. They do not like to be wet or in soggy areas. This will cause the plant to rot. They are drought-resistant plant that do not need much watering. If planting multiple plants spaced 2 to 3 feet depending on the plant's maturity size. When it comes time to harvest the lavender flowers, trim the stem where it meets the bushy area of the plant. Then use them fresh or secure with a rubber band and hang upside down out of direct sunlight to dry. In the autumn, it is best to hedge up your plants. Fun facts about lavender. Lavender originates from the Latin verb lavare, which means to wash. Lavender was an important part of the bathing rituals in ancient Rome because of its disinfectant and antiseptic properties. Like citronella, lavender's fragrance is known to repel insects. Ancient Egyptians used lavender during the mummification process. The ancient Greeks used lavender to treat insomnia and ease back pain. During the Great Plague, lavender was worn as a bracelet around the wrist and brought up to the mouth to prevent contracting the disease. King Charles of France requested that all his cushions in his home be stuffed with lavender. Queen Victoria was a fan of lavender and made sure her furniture was cleaned with a lavender-based solution. And she enjoyed lavender-infused tea to help ease her stomach. Lavender oil was used in hospitals during World War I. The lavender plant symbolizes purity, devotion, serenity, grace, and calm. Here's a picture of our field when it's in full bloom. With our mountain view. These are some pictures of our family. That's me and my husband, our older son Tucker, and our little son Ryder. We had a New Holland Tractor magazine come out and do a story, and the lady took these photos for us. That's a basket of French lavender there. The picture of just me, I'm picking Elegance Pink. It's a pink lavender. Well, thank you for your time today, and I hope to see you all this year at our UPIC. And now we'll do question and answers.
All right, thank you, Katie. Great job. I have a couple of questions in here for you, and we'll just go down the list. The first question I have is from Denise. She would like to know how the stovepipe and butane torch works to getting holes in the plastic. She's wondering if something like that might be an option for strawberry plants.
Yeah, maybe. So what we did is like a pipe, and so we set that down on the plastic, which is like, it's almost like a tarp. It's a weaved plastic where it will last many years. And so you set that down, and then you take your torch. Maybe I can show with my hand. We set that torch, the stovepipe down, and then we had the propane torch in our hand, and then you just go in there like that, and then it kind of shrinks that plastic up. And so it just did nice. We tried like before with a big flamethrower, and it just like made the plastic, like it just kept melting and melting. This contains it with that stovepipe when you do the melting of the plastic.
Interesting. The next question is, would you need a certified kitchen for any of your products?
Yes, we haven't gotten that far. I've just done like stuff in my home for my own self. The lavender sugar cookies, I had a Amish friend of mine make them. She has a certified kitchen and can do all that. And I'll still be sourcing her this year, and probably for a while, because she just knows what she's doing really well. And I don't have the time to make all that stuff, but we are working towards having a certified kitchen where we can do more products and everything.
What nursery did you use to purchase your plants?
Right over the hill from us, it's Montour Farm Market. We order them way in advance though, like back in, you can order them probably in the fall to have them for spring. So that's usually what's suggested.
Okay, next question from Betsy. What is the length of the season that you can welcome you-pick customers?
Yeah, it's a very short season. So it's from mid-June to mid-July. And it all is also dependent on weather. Like last year, we were going to have a little longer, but it ended up, it was so dry that I didn't want to keep continuing it because the lavender was kind of past its prime. So yeah, it's about 1 month is what we have. But this year we're going to be experimenting with some other flowers, so that might extend our season where we would have a longer visit for people.
So Rebecca said that they visited last season and all of them had a great time picking their bunches. The sugar cookies were delicious too. She said it started to storm the day we were there, and hurrying to their car, she forgot what bunch was the culinary variety. And she asked if there are others that you grow that are okay to use well with. I think that means like culinary use.
Yeah, I mean, you can either use any of them because I've talked to people that have used both French and English. English could be more tended to as the culinary better, because somebody told me there's something called, I believe it's kefir is the name of it, and there's more of that in one or the other, which is like a painkiller. And so the English has less of that painkiller in it. So the English variety, which that's what we mostly have in our fields, is English varieties, but we do have the French, which are the more pointy, bigger plants.
Interesting. What is the best variety that grows in Pennsylvania?
Well, there is like over 400 kinds of lavender plants. So either look and see if it's in English or French, and that would be what I would go for. Like I said, the English will do well in the cold, because I mean, it looks really dead in the winter, and my French looked really alive, but then I went down and I was like, oh, okay. But then when we had like a late frost last year, it seemed to do more damage to the French, kind of kill off some of that of the plant than it did the English. So yeah, English or French. And Spanish if you just want that look, but it won't last you till the following year.
Carrie asked if you think this is a profitable venture. How much do you charge for your lavender, and what does the financial picture look like for your business?
Well, I mean, I'm not the breadwinner. My husband has like a really full-time job, and I stay home. So this was kind of like my idea to get it going, but I don't think it would be able to support our whole farm for sure, because it's only a 1 month venture. You definitely need a job to have it keep going. The bundles last year, we charged based on what I had seen a news story in Washington State, but then I got talking to a lady in Georgia who has a lavender farm, and she told me what she charged, and I was kind of astounded by the price, but she's have to look at it. Washington State, there's like tons of lavender farms. That's the US capital of lavender. So she said you have to look at that market of if it's a more unique niche. Like down there in Georgia, it's hard to grow lavender because of the humidity. So I guess we just had to do some more further research on that and kind of come up with an idea more. But right now, especially when you're growing your business, it's not something that's going to be able to support like a whole farm. Like if you have like a small home or something, and a lot of retired people do it actually, is what I've kind of run into. I think we're one of the younger people getting into lavender farming, but surprisingly, because it is like extremely laborious. But and one of the things with our farms too, like I talked to many lavender farms, they don't allow you picks, which is something we do because they don't trust the customer with the plant, or they only like allow adults. But our farm, we allow both children and adults, and just want to give that kind of whole experience because being kid friendly and family friendly.
Yeah. All right, I have 2 questions left here. If you have any other questions, keep them coming in the chat box. This one's from Jerry. She asks, how do you prevent that disease that is so prevalent in lavender?
Yeah, that's Phothothera. And so when we got our plants, I took like a few of them over to Penn State University, and they have a lab over there that can test them, and they all came back negative. But yeah, I don't know if there's a prevention other maybe than testing them, but if it gets in your fields, I heard it can be devastating. It's something that goes in the waterways, and it's almost like a mold that will rot your roots. So we haven't had that problem. Luckily, our plants are in a southern field where they get like tons of full sunlight all day long. So there is some research, I guess, in South Carolina, Clemens University. If they reach out to them, that they would have a lot more information than me about the Phothothera.
And do you have any winterizing tips that you can offer us?
Well, we just leave our plants go. Some people do high tunnels, and we are talking about that with the U.S. lavender growers. But the problem with high tunnels, I guess some of them found, then they caused more moisture, so then you could have more mold. So it's kind of like with any farming, it's like you put it in the ground and you hope it all goes well, but it could end up a devastating crop, a so crop, or a really good crop. It's just like any kind of farming. One year it'll be good, and the next it could devastate. A lot of farmers with the lavender had a really bad year, not last year, but like all those years before, because we had all that rain, and it just kind of ruined the crops because it would rot out the roots.
All right, we have 2 more questions actually just came in. It says, for your uptick, do you sell tickets or do you just have open hours for the public?
Yeah, we haven't done any tickets. We just did it where it was like free admission. The way I started it is when I saw we had lavender last year, I was like, okay, well, we got to do something maybe. So I put it on Facebook, and we just had like a few people out. But then there was one customer, and she was like, oh, I know somebody, like I'm going to write the news station. And so she wrote them, and they come out and did a story. And then we had quite the crowds after that. And so, but we were able to manage everybody. This year, we're going to kind of reconfigure our field to have parking more towards the lavender fields. And then also to kind of cut down on so many people, which we had Saturday and Sunday open. I also did, if people could privately schedule during the week with me, and I would take like groups of like 10 cars down on my own, that I could handle that amount of people by myself. So I'll do that this year. We might be open Friday, Saturday, Sunday to the public for just coming without an appointment, and then the other days I would do by like appointment.
The last question I have on here, do you insure your crop?
No, we haven't. I didn't know about crop insurance, and I don't know if they offer that for lavender. A lady, farmer lady reached out to me, and she had just mentioned she was wanting to get into lavender, and then she said their regular, I guess, corn crop and stuff was horrible, but she was like, thank goodness for crop insurance. And I was like, oh, I didn't know what about that. And she's like, yeah, but she didn't know if they did lavender. So we don't have any insurance on our crop.
Gotcha. Well, that is all the questions I have here. Maybe we could take another minute. If anyone has any other questions, you can throw them in the chat box. We have extra time if you do need. But if not, I thank everyone for coming out and taking their time to listen to Katie. I thank you so much, Katie, for doing a presentation for us. We did have another question come into the chat box from Carrie. She asked, what is the age of your plants that are shown?
Okay, so we put them in spring of 2019. So 3 years, I guess, which that's when they usually say they reach their full maturity site is 3 years. It'll be 3 years, like when they bloom. And then we have ones around the home, but those in the picture are 2 years right there.
2 years.
So
nice. So I don't have any other. It looks like Rebecca hopes to visit you soon again. I hope to come out as well. It looks like an awesome operation that you have out there. Good things happening. So thank you again, everyone, for joining, and thank you, Katie, for presenting for us today. I hope that we can see everyone here again tomorrow. We'll be hearing from Jody Cull. She is with the Valley Mobile Veterinary Service, and she'll be talking about large animal vet stories. So if everyone has all their questions in, that is the end of this presentation. I hope to see you guys all tomorrow and throughout the week, and I hope you also enjoy the awesome weather we're having today.
Thank you so much, everyone.